95th anniversary for the Longview Pioneer Lions Club. What a terrific turnout tonight. Thank you all for coming. We have an agenda to follow here, but something that wasn't on the agenda that I would like to do as president of the Pioneer Lions Club. Will all of the Pioneer Lions officers please stand? Board of directors and officers. Thank you very much. This is a team that really puts a lot of effort into making a fantastic program for the Pioneer Lions. As we get started tonight, with honor, I would like to call upon past Governor Steve Patterson for the invocation. You want a stool or something?
Would you like us to stand, or?
For those of you who have not heard this,
Well, that's everybody.
God made us the height we are when we reach perfection. Some of us got there a little quicker than others.
That's why you always win the award for short stories.
We're praying. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for allowing us to gather here this evening in celebration of 95 years of service to the community and to the world. We pray your blessing on those that have driven a long way to be here, and we pray your blessing on as they're returning home tonight and tomorrow. We pray the blessing on the proceedings tonight and on the food we are about to eat, and in the hopes that it will nourish our bodies and strengthen us in the love for you and for each other. Amen.
And at this time, I'd like to call upon past zone chair Steve Johnston for the pledge. Please stand and join us.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I would like to call upon Zone Chairman for 19G1, Multiple District Lions, Marilyn Patterson for O Canada and America.
Please join me with O Canada. O Canada,
Our native land, through ages of, in all thy sons command, with flowing hearts we see thee right, the true, most strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
and singing of America.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims' pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you all very much. At this time, I would like to call on past district governor. What's your name? Our past district governor, Mark Koelsch, for the MC ceremonies of tonight's event. Thank you.
That's your copy. happy. Good evening. It's my privilege tonight to start off with a few introductions. First of all, to my left, past council chair Allan Hunt and his partner in service, Lion Sonia. And past international director Roger Richard, and his partner in service, past district governor Rosemary. We do have a number of dignitaries with us this evening, so we'll start off with our current council chairman, John Curry, and his partner in service, Sharon. Vice council chair from our own 19G, J.D. Neller, and his partner in service, Susan. Past council chair, Hal Palmer, and I forgot to ask if Pat is here. Patricia, thank you, partner in service. Our current district governor, Mark Mansell. District governor from 19F, David Heath, and his partner in service, Susan. I've got a little ways to go to get that much beard, but 19C, Vice District Governor Patrick Birch and his partner in service, Sherry. Our immediate past District Governor from 19G, Bill Karcher. Past district governors in the room, please stand and be recognized as a group. If there's anyone who's a past district governor, there's a number of us here. Thank you all for coming. In addition to Marilyn, I believe, although I didn't see her, Zone Chairman Sue, is she here this evening? Yes, Zone Chairman Sue, would you please stand? Sue Semke Fox from G6, down the gorge. Any other current zone chairman that I may have missed? Helen Sutphin from 19G2. Shows you how much I'm paying attention. But past zone chairman, please stand. Anybody who's not been recognized, past zone chairman, please stand. Multiple District 19 Executive Secretary Treasurer Peter Anderson and his partner in service, Rebecca. And they are here from Bellingham, which is a bit of a jaunt. Thank you for coming. I forgot to ask David Heath how far you came for 19F, but yeah, okay. We have our chairman of the Northwest Lions Foundation, Bill Lundeen, and his partner in service, Linda. We had an award that I was just reminded of, presented to the multiple district, not just our district, but the entire multiple district, Washington, Northern Idaho, British Columbia, Secretary of the Year. Lion Hope is here somewhere. Wanted to recognize that. That's quite the accomplishment. I would like to recognize the past presidents that are here tonight from Longview Pioneer. So I'm going to do this in order of year. 1977, Don Donaldson. Thank you, Don. 1978, looks much older than that, but past zone chairman George Moore. 1982, past president Barry Dahl. 1986 and 1987, past District Governor Jim Reinecke. For clarifications, we've never had a repeat president. That is somebody that's served their term and then come back later to serve. Jim just needed a little more practice, so. Now, in all seriousness, we had a death and Jim kindly agreed to serve 2 years. 1990, past President Bob Heidemann. 1991, past President Greg Prestegard. Maybe we'll have to hand out your perfect attendance pin as well, Greg. 1992, past zone chairman Greg Firth. 1994, past president Gary Hill. 1995, past president, actually past zone chairman Terry Woodruff. And Gary, I believe you'd served as past zone chairman too. Yes? I'm just reading on George's notes, so I'm going to, never mind. 1996, a real goofball, me. 1997, and yes, he followed me through the chairs, past council chairman Hal Palmer. I asked earlier, and I don't believe past President Frank Wiley is with us. He is here. See, I checked about 10 minutes ago, and they didn't know that. And your partner in service, Lena, is here with us. 1999, past President Phil Olson. 2002, past District Governor Steve Patterson. 2003, past President Marie Speck. Our second King Lion with an earring. I was number one. 2004, past President Steve Johnston. 2006, past President Pat Palmer. 2011, Mike Firth. 2012, past President Cindy Sessions. 2013, past zone chairman Doug Harvey. 2016, zone chairman Marilyn Patterson. And finally, 2016, past President Cindy Pickett.
Yeah. I didn't serve when Maryland did. Yeah.
Okay. we're moving along. And also, is Ruth here? I believe she is. Ruth Morrill is a member of our club, but is also the spouse of our late Barry Morrill, who was a past president. So welcome, Ruth. And I also had the pleasure earlier of speaking with Helen Albin, past President Rogers' spouse, is here. There we go. I never did see, but I better check, Jeff Wilson come in late at all? Because I missed train. Okay. Any members of the Tacoma Downtown Lions present tonight? Would you please stand? Thank you. The reason that is significant, they are our sponsoring club. And finally, before I move on for the last of our remembrances, we are coming up to Veterans Day in the United States, which I believe is Remembrance Day in Canada. So all veterans, would you please stand? Thank you for your service. At this time, I'd like our city manager, Kurt Saha, to please come forward.
Thank you, Mark. And I must say it's a pleasure to be here this evening for all of you Lions. I do have a proclamation to read from the mayor of the city of Longview, so if you bear with me for a moment, I'd like to go ahead and read that proclamation for each of you this evening. The proclamation for the Pioneer Lions Club anniversary. Whereas since November 1923, the Pioneer Lions Club of Longview has been a chartered member of Lions International and is celebrating its 95th anniversary. And whereas in its inception, the Pioneer Lions Club worked with city officials to help build the new road to Cap Mammoth over the K&M Mountains, promoted the Columbia Theater, and helped develop the YMCA. And whereas the Pioneer Lions Club has sponsored 9 new Lions Clubs, 1 Lioness Club, and a Leo Club. And whereas the Pioneer Lions Club continues to support the Lions Sight Foundation in Ibang, the annual Walk and Not Food Drive, replaced the defunct Feeding is Fundamental program with the elementary school book program, and funding local scholarships for high school and Lower Columbia College students. And whereas the Pioneer Lions Club labored to rejuvenate Lions Island with new landscaping, a footpath, underground wiring, holiday lighting, and a new bridge, and erecting a prominent totem pole. And whereas the Pioneer Lions Club demonstrates a wide range of community projects, including building wheelchair ramps for the elderly and handicapped. And whereas the Pioneer Lions Club continues to be a leader among local service clubs by supporting numerous youth activities. Now therefore, I, Don Jensen, Mayor of the City of Longview, do hereby proclaim November to be Pioneer Lions Month in the City of Longview, and urge all citizens to join me in congratulating the members of this outstanding organization and expressing our thanks and appreciation for all they do for the community. And I would just like to add, on behalf of myself, I too wish to thank each of you in the Pioneer Lions Club for all of your contributions to the city and for making Longview a better place to live, work, and play. And I wish to thank you, each of you, for all that you do. Thank you.
I neglected to note when I called on our city manager that he's also a member of Longview Pioneer Lions. So, thank you. I have personally cooked a few hamburgers with Kurt over the years. While I was preparing for this, looking through club history and looking through the list of past presidents and those past presidents we don't have anymore, it occurred to me that it would be appropriate at this time to just pause for a moment of silence for all of the Lions family, not just in Longview Pioneer, but we have a number of Lions from our other clubs that are no longer with us. So I would ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. And since it would not be appropriate for the Longview Pioneers without a toast to the Piper, to the Piper! Thank you, Lions. Being a lunch club, we've learned over the years how to conduct business and eat our meals at the same time. We'll give you time as the meals are being served to you to eat, but we're also going to kind of jump in and do bits and pieces as we move along. So at this time, enjoy your meal, but don't be surprised if in about 10 or 15 minutes we pop up again. Thank you. I've had enough to eat, so if you don't sell, stop going.
I would like our district governor, Mark Menzel, please stand. Now, one of the honors that we have with the district governor, especially somebody as intelligent and smart, I'm not going any further than that. We all attended the MD-19 conference up at Whistler, Canada. Fantastic time, great opportunity. They have so much to do up there. Our governor signed up to go on the fantastic, absolutely amazing zip lines. When he showed up in line, he was told, sorry, you're too big. You can't go. Mark, we need to talk to the Canadians and change their measurements down into the American system. Thank you, and we'll get you on the zip line in one of these places.
Hey Steve, did you have that problem too?
To Governor Mark, fellow Lions and guests. Wow. How many here have actually heard of the Lions Club International Foundation? Oh, I love it when those hands go up like I do. How old is the Lions Club International Foundation? 50 years, that's right. And how old is Lions Clubs International? 101. And it's really interesting, it took them 50 years to come up with what's from a foundation. And I gotta tell you, when I was governor back in, when was it again? 97? Going to the governor's school and seeing the results of the Lions Club International Foundation blew me away. It's not, you know, we've had local, really good things happen here in the district. We helped with the Columbia Park. They were up in Boysport, up farther up. Those from 19B know that the big Oso slide was partially, repairs were partially funded by LCIF. But last year in 2017, Lions Club International Foundation reached $1 billion in grants. Isn't that amazing? As of right now, we are at 1 billion, I went 1 billion point one, of course my math went, well that means it's 100,000, right? No, that's another million this last year. This year, the priorities are hunger, environment, childhood cancer, diabetes, basic humanitarian, disaster relief, youth, and vision. Is there anything in there that you can support? Yes. Everybody that's received a Melvin Jones Fellow has either donated $1,000 or somebody has donated $1,000 on their behalf. And everybody's name that is a Melvin Jones Fellow, which if they would stand right now, everybody in the room is a Melvin Jones Fellow.
Melvin Jones Fellows.
Yes. Thank you. I think we hit the whole head table, didn't we? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I've spoken a lot of anniversary meetings, and sometimes it's half of the head table. Thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate you and what you've done for us. Because when somebody is hungry, they need help. When somebody has had an earthquake, they need help. If you think back to the year that I was governor, it was 2001, and September of 2001 was a very famous date in our history that we all remember. Lions Clubs International was the very first organization on the ground helping people. And that's what we do. Isn't that exciting? When you look at LCIF, it's just amazing. With that, I know Mark is going to talk about some special awards tonight.
Thank you, Hal. You're welcome. Many people have a mistaken, many Lions have a mistaken impression that we, why should we donate to LCIF? Because it just goes off to LCIF. But the history of our district, we've received more than we've typically donated. I can kind of echo a little bit of what Hal talked about. 11 years ago when I was governor, we had the tremendous rains in February of that year. Supposedly a 1,000-year event, later got downgraded to a 250-year event, but obviously huge amounts of rain. They had 20 inches of rain in 2 days in the Boyce-Curtis Valley up that way, and the water continued on down the Cowlitz River all the way out to the coast. I got to go up. Our zone chairman that year from that district, Bill Hunter, was able to get access because he lived in the area, so I got to go into the area about 2 days after the flooding had receded. I will never forget seeing a cow stranded in a tree 15 feet off the ground that had died. It was quite the scene. Bill showed me his house that he was rescued from. The boat pulled up to the roof of the porch of the porch and rescued him from his second floor window. Why I'm telling you this is because I was encouraged, and so I applied for a grant from LCIF for disaster relief. And in 20 minutes, I had a response that we had $10,000 to use for our district. It's that kind of on the ground with the Lions in the area kind of support that you get from LCIF. As Hal indicated, Melvin Jones Fellows are used often in recognition. That's the more typical way that we see it. Most of us have received Melvin Jones Fellows as recognition from our club or our district or from a group, or sometimes individual that cares about another individual, a spouse perhaps, that does that. There's also progressive Melvin Jones Fellows. Some of us who have received the Melvin Jones Fellow continue to donate to LCIF and then we're recognized as progressives. At this time, we have 3 progressive Melvin Jones Fellows to present and 1 special individual Melvin Jones presentation from an individual that will be done. So if I could ask George to come forward and Alan to do the presentations. If we could have Doug and Dolly Harvey come forward, please.
And the next one is Assistant Governor Mark Koelsch.
These are all 3 of us who are progressives. We cared enough about LCIF that we continued making donations to that organization. However, at this time, we also have another Melvin Jones Fellow to present by an individual who is, well, he can explain it. Past District Governor Mike, would you please come forward?
As most of you know, I've been the project officer, or I should say project manager on the Lions House Screening Unit for nearly 20 years. And in that 20 years, it's going to be hard for me to get through this. In that 20 years, I had one of the best helpers I could ever have. One trip I made years ago, she had to stay home because of physical therapy, and I was gone for 2 months. And I got home and I couldn't move, I was so tired. She knows where stuff is in that trailer. She kept things straight, she retested kids. And plus, I've been married to her for over 50 years. Like that, well, she keeps telling me she's probably never going to get one of these. And I've been planning this for a long time. I should have done it years ago.
Thank you. We will once again take a little bit of a break, but before we do, I was reminded that I did not recognize presidents from other clubs. So we had a number of clubs that sent their presidents, or the presidents chose to join us tonight. So if I could ask the presidents from other Lions clubs, please stand. Thank you. We appreciate you coming to recognize us. I'd like to share one quick thing with you. Sometimes someone unexpected comes into your life out of nowhere, makes your heart race, and changes you forever. We call these people cops. We'll talk to you again in about 10 minutes. 2, 3, 4. We're here tonight to talk about the Longview Pioneer Lions. It's our 95th anniversary, so it's helpful to give you a little bit of background on our history as a club. The history of our club and the city of Longview parallel each other because of the membership. They were both started in 1923, and many of the original members of the Longview Pioneer Lions, which were then simply Longview Lions, were the city leaders. They provided the cultural, scholastic, sporting, and civic leadership necessary for the development of a new city. Longview was a planned city founded in 1923. A look at the list of the 25 original members, for those of us who are local, is pretty eye-opening. SM Mark Morris, as in the high school, Longview Vice President at the time. H.W. Jackson, the original Chief of Police. We've had several Chief of Police within our club over the years. A.R. Gibbs, the land manager for Longview and the city's first mayor. We've got a tradition of that as well. He was club president in 1928. Leslie Stitt, it's a name that many people don't recognize. However, that was our last connection to our charter members. When I first came into Lions, we had an active member by the name of Ralph Young, and he was the son-in-law of Leslie Stitt. So we had a connection for a while there. Roy Morris, as in Roy Morris Park, was the manager of the Wrightwood operations. He was the club president in 1924. Doctors J.L. Norris was club president in 1934, and W.H. Sharp, who was charter president in 1923. Gus Hackenbrack from the Longview Chamber of Commerce, the original director of the Longview Chamber of Commerce, was a member. H.H. Clark, the fire chief. We've had a long history of fire chiefs, including our own past president Bob Heidemann, sitting over there. J.M. McClellan, who was the publisher and originator of Longview Daily News. Reverend E.H. Giebert from the community church. There's now Giebert Chapel at that location. Wesley Vandercook, as in Vandercook Way, an engineer with Long Bell, was a member. Charles Nutter, the very first director of the YMCA, was a member. C.C. Charlie Tibbetts, who was a printer, was also eventually later a mayor at the city of Longview. We were chartered in November of 1923, sponsored by the Tacoma Lions Club, now known as the Tacoma Downtown Lions Club. We received our charter on a special ceremony on December 16th, 1923. Think about that for a minute. December 16th, 1923. Times were a bit different then. Yet we had 100 Lions from Spokane, Bellingham, Everett, Seattle, Tacoma, Wenatchee, Yakima, and Portland on hand for the ceremony. Think of how difficult that trip would have been from Spokane in 1923, in December of 1923. Working with Ari Long and the new city officials, our Lions Club helped build the road to Calf Island and over KM Mountain. I thought that was a rumor until I actually looked into the history. We helped development of the Columbia Theater, helped develop the YMCA in town. Because the members donated time, talent, and money and became the true pioneers of the planned city, in 1968, out of respect for those who were leading the way, the Longview Lions became known as the Longview Pioneer Lions. And we had multiple clubs at that time in the area. Don't have time to go into all the projects, and a number of them were mentioned in the proclamation by the mayor, the city manager read, so I won't go into a lot of those. Part of the reason we've been so successful, and I have to agree with the statement from our club history, is because our membership is a huge cross-section of our community. We have no workers and no managers. We have all sorts of city leaders, retired people, Joe Blows to whatever. One of the things we're most known for, of course, is Lions Island. In 1968, the Pioneer Lions chose Lions Island as a project for the year. They met with Frank Willis, who happened to be a Lion and director of the Parks and Recreation Department, helps to know people sometimes. And they started researching information on the islands of Lake Sacagawea. One of the interesting notes is there were then planted 48 trees representing the state tree of each state on the islands. You got to remember at that time Alaska and Hawaii were not U.S. states. The committee researched and picked the current Lions Island, primarily because of its location and size, to be the one. You'll love this. The initial budget of $300 was submitted to the board and approved. If you're familiar with Lions Island, that's quite the project to take on. They next went with Lion Lloyd Inman, who was the city manager, and got us on the docket of the city council. They approached the city council and they requested 5 things. Clean all unwanted blackberry vines and other vegetation from the island. Put up seasonal displays. Replant shrubs, bulbs, and whatever it would take to restore. Hold band concerts with the band on the island and audience across the river. And name the island Lions Island. Approval by the council was given for all except for number 5. It was not named Lions Island originally. We did get named Lions Island, but that was later. The first work party was set for early summer 1968. There was no bridge at that time, so workers, volunteers, Lions had to go back and forth by boat. So once they got out of the island, they were pretty much captive workers until they wanted to swim back or take the boat later. Blackberry vines were reportedly hundreds of feet long and 30 feet high. Huge thorns, but they started a number of work parties and just tore away in that summer. At one work party, a cry was heard from the bank, and you noticed earlier I mentioned Charlie Tibbetts. The cry from the bank was Lion Charlie Tibbetts, former mayor of Longview, who was 90 years old at the time. He wanted somebody from the island to come across in the boat and get him so he could contribute and work. The kind of commitment that we have as Lions. Later on, they developed 3 floats so they could tie the floats together and have a way to walk back and forth from the shore to the island. It was also noted in history that they often came to work and found the floats out in the lake as people had cut them loose. They worked hard for many years. A number of names were mentioned. Most of you wouldn't probably recognize a lot of them, but Sig Hansen, Jim McKercher, and Ernie Coots were often mentioned in the notes. The first Christmas was a bit of a shock. They went and checked with people to see what it would cost to light up the island, put a bunch of Christmas lights out there. And the price they had from different vendors was between $2,000 and $2,500, which in that year was the same as the price of a new 1965 Mustang. And at the time, Longview Pioneer Lions only had $250 left in the budget. So they erected a large pole. Tail twisters? They erected a large pole and put a star on top. They went to the port of Longview for Christmas lights. I'm sure that was probably a direct vending from some of the ships that were in port at the time. Spent $200 for Christmas lights, and that was our first Christmas lights on Lions Island. Many of us remember Frank Brown. He was a member of our club, past district governor. Frank, at his own expense, brought electricity to the island. He put a lot of voltage laying on the ground just with wires. Due to the danger, they later put a bunch of conduits out. I kind of remember some of those days in my early days in the club with a lot of high voltage wiring laying all over the ground. It's out now all nicely put up. More lights added every year. A totem pole manufactured in Kalama was given to Lions for the island when the highway in Kalama was widened. The go-for-it fireworks are launched every year from the island at this time. A Lion finally constructed a bridge to the island. The main cost was for the culvert they put in for the water to pass underneath. Again, Lion Ernie Kuntz was mentioned in this. Many of us are familiar with Lion Ernie. Recent years, improvements were made to electrical system. Yahoo! One year, actually about 4 or 5 years, my father was chairman of Lions Island, and I had the pleasure of going out to turn the lights on in the morning or off in the evening. And when it's dark and rainy and you're reaching into a box, which doesn't have any covers, just has a lot of breakers and wires, it's a little bit eerie to reach in there. But now we have nice wiring in there. It's good to see. In 2002, the totem pole was lowered to the ground, refurbished, and completely repainted under the guidance of George Moore. In 2008, with a grant from, yes, thank you, George. In 2008, with a grant from the city and some of the Earning Kids money, we replaced many of the lights with LEDs. We've been involved in a number of things along the lake. We have Girl Scout camps. Many of the things I was going to read through were already covered in Kurt's proclamation, so I'm not going to go through all of those. Many of our funds, how we raise them, often comes from our chuck wagon, our Go Forth Beer Garden, known as Spirits of Longview, Spaghetti Feed, Golf Tournament, Street of Screens, which is just kind of keeps going along. We did excellent this year. I forget, what was our donation this year?
$6,000 plus.
A little over $6,000 going to Camp Leo from the alternative Halloween party that we have started off and going through. As noted in the proclamation, we provided numerous zone chairmen, district governors, 2 multiple district council chair, a Northwest Lions Foundation for Sight and Hearing Foundation president, and an international director, Arnie Peterson. We'll hear more on that later from our very own past district governor, Jim Reinke. We have sponsored 9 clubs, 1 Lioness Club, a Leo Club, and over our history have raised in excess of $3 million that we've donated back to the community. Great legacy. At this time, I would like past International Director Roger and George to come forward. We have some additional Melvin Jones Fellows to present. These are all a surprise. All 4 of these are due to donations from the Longview Pioneer Lions and Lions Clubs International Foundation. Previously, the 3 progressives, we were aware of what we were receiving. However, these are a surprise. The first person, who will probably be extra surprised since it was hard to keep it a secret, would pass on Chairman Greg Burke. Please come forward. But it was, I believe, from the zone. Is that correct? The club? Anyway, this is from Longview Pioneer Lions.
Smile, Greg.
At this time, I'd ask Zone Chairman Marilyn Patterson to come forward.
I'm speechless.
Good. Sit down.
Steve will contest to this, but moving into presidential positions was kind of a fury of a 2-year that normally should have been 5 years, and now I'm zone chair. So it's an amazing ride that I really enjoy. Thank you so much.
At this time, we'd like Harold, aka Tiger Malone, to come forward. Tiger is because he's been running our golf tournament for something like 40 years, but, or it just seems like 40 years, something along those lines. Before we present the final one here, I was kind of reminded that we typically read the letter that comes with the plaque for Melvin Jones Fellow. So I'd just like to touch this, and this applies to all of those that have received this. Dear Melvin Jones Fellow, and I'm not going to give the name away yet, on behalf of Lions Clubs International Foundation, congratulations on becoming a Melvin Jones Fellow. The Melvin Jones Fellowship is named for Melvin Jones, the founder of Lions Clubs International. It is largely due to the growth of the fellowship program that LCIF has been able to meet the humanitarian needs in communities around the world. Fellowship contributions help to bring medication to prevent river blindness to people like 67-year-old Hilario and her family, or teach children like 12-year-old Stefan to avoid drugs through Lions Quest. Each Melvin Jones Fellowship contribution can restore the sight of 167 individuals or provide Lions Quest to 67 youth. LCIF is able to continue and expand programs through the generous support of fellows such as yourself. You should take great pride in knowing that you will impact so many lives both in your immediate community as well as across the globe. You are becoming a Melvin Jones Fellow during a historic time for our LCIF as we celebrate 50 years in supporting Lions humanitarian service worldwide. We're also looking forward to the future. LCIF is embarking on a $300 million capital fundraising campaign to both increase the impact we make in our current focus areas and expand our service to include other Lions and global causes. As a Melvin Jones Fellow, your name has been added to our listing of all individuals in the program. During your next visit to international headquarters, I invite you to visit the LCIF room to see your name on this extensive list. Wear your Melvin Jones Fellowship lapel pin with pride. It represents your dedication to humanitarian service to the highest degree. Thank you for your continued dedication and support to LCIF. Sincerely, Dr. Naresh Argopal, Chairman, Board of Trustees. And at this time, I'd like our next person to come forward, Lion Greg Swanson.
put that back in. Is that working? Oh. You broke it. Bring the, anyway, hold on. You can have that. Nice goal, Brad. I feel pretty humbled. I want to thank you all the friends of Lions, and I haven't been the healthiest this year, but I'm looking to get back to it, and I think we can do great things with Lions and continue on what we've been doing since 1923. Thank you very much.
Yep, still on. I'll fix that in a second with we need to give extra kudos to Greg. He almost accomplished shutting me up, but not quite. We probably should have saved the toast the piper because he's been our chairman of our beer garden committee for a number of times, but we do appreciate that. We will again take a short break if I can find my notes to make sure that if memory serves. Yes, we'll take another short break and we'll be with you shortly.
Thank you, Mark.
I think it's safe. I think we have it in there, but
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here at your 95th charter anniversary. But first, 31-7 in the game this afternoon. Go Phillies. It's my pleasure to introduce your guest speaker, past council chairman, Allan Hunt. Allan is the Lions of Canada endorsed candidate for the Canadian International Director position in Milan, Italy in July of 2019. This is kind of exciting. It's been a long time. Allan is the Lions of Canada endorsed. Allan brings forward a long and successful career with the Government of Canada involved with aviation safety service for pilots, flight service specialists, and air traffic control, all in British Columbia. With his experience in management positions over the years, he rose progressively with responsibilities. In 1996, he was responsible for 18 direct reporting managers with the operating staff of 240 and an operating budget of $20 million. Allan joined the Chilliwack Mount Chem Lions Club in 1979 and proceeded through the many levels of leadership. He served as the ND19 Council Chairman in 2007 and 2008. Along the way, as a very active Lion, he served in many district and multi-district positions. Currently, he serves on the LCIF International 100 Campaign Committee and is the co-chair for Lions Club International Foundation in Canada. Allan, a Melvin Jones Fellow and life member, has received many recognitions, including 3 International President's Medals. Allan and his wife Sonia, also a Melvin Jones Fellow, have been married for 46 years, have 1 daughter and 1 grandchild. Lions, please rise and greet our MD19 and Canadian candidate for International Director, Lion Past Council Chairman, Allan Hunt.
Thank you, House International Director Roger, President Ken, Mr. Governor Mark, fellow Lions, and any guests that are in the room. It's really nice to be back in Longview again. I was just sitting up there trying. We had Paul Foran down here when I was his council chair. We had also had all sorts of interesting events in Longview. We did a leadership 101 just before a spring conference at the Red Lion. It was very memorable. We had Pat's not in the room. But anyhow, he was role playing on this at this Leadership 101, and we weren't sure whether he was really playing or whether it was real. It was pretty scary for a while. But yeah, he's your brother, not mine. So it's my brother. It would be really weird. Anyhow, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the hospitality of Longview Pioneer Lions. I wasn't exactly sure what to talk about tonight. I've been here before, and usually when we do a charter anniversary, there's usually a lot of history is discussed, and strangely enough, that's happened tonight. One of the things that I think we as an association need to look at many things, I think, but one of them is communication. We're in an interesting time in our world. We just rolled out a brand new website for the lionsclub.org. Also, happens about to be rolled out too. And we've got some interesting issues with that, in that it was supposed to happen on July the 1st this year, and it's been held up because of privacy rules in Europe that we sort of have to comply with. So that's been an interesting exercise. And we try to learn all sorts of abbreviations from time to time. And I think we sometimes baffle people who we assume people know what we're talking about. I was at several years ago now, but I was at an event, and I think a lot of people here may have run into Rod Barnes, past council chairman Rod Barnes, and he identified himself as Papa Charlie, which is phonetics for PCC, if you don't know. But the person sitting next to me said, what does that mean? I said, oh, that's Pussycat Control. I was being funny. He thought I was being serious. So I had to back up and straighten that up, because no one had actually passed council chairman. And I found recently dealing with Peter, our new executive secretary, Peter Emerson, on the phone, I tried to love the odd phrase that you can just hear his brain come to a screaming halt. I said tickety-boo the other day, tickety-boo, and he was like, you just see him over there in my hand the phone. What does that mean? You know, what does that mean? I said, it means everything's okay. You know, still got to come to the door.
Why didn't you just say that?
I didn't know what level of Canadian you spoke, so. And God knows we've got some interesting phrases that we think everybody understands. I assume everybody knows what a 2-4 is. It's a fly. Up here, a fly up here. 24 cans of beer that come in a fly. It's a 2-4. Some people call it a 2-4. And we have these hats we think they're quite normal. They're called a toque. You people call them a watch cap or a stocking cap or something else, but we call them toques. And we go through a whole lot of different phrases that we think are pretty normal. And some people down here think it's funny. I know we were at a convention in San Diego, we were in Denver, and we put people off in gales of laughter by saying out and about. And they thought that was just so funny. And we thought it's just so weird. We think that's funny, but I guess it's the way we say things. So we need to kind of be careful with, acronyms and making the assumption that everybody totally understands what we're talking about. I have to be careful of that too, because I can be sometimes quite obtuse, as people have said, and ask for agreement with me now. And I want to tell them about something, and they go, huh? What are you talking about? So we recognize the 95th anniversary of the Longview Pioneer Lions. The Longview Lions and being the Pioneer Lions, right? I learned something new. And I wonder if the club that chartered the Pioneer Lions, the Longview Pioneer Lions, had any clue what they were doing. Did they have any idea of the impact that had? And I know you people from Longview think it's all a Longview thing. Because you don't necessarily see the impact that you've had outside of Longview. And you've had a huge impact within Longview. Your Lions Island and the lake that I can't probably pronouncing.
Sacagawea.
That's what I was going to say too.
It's supposed to be Sacagawea, but that's the one
Messed
packet.
it up, yeah. So there's you guys have done a tremendous amount of things in your communities. But you've also shared some of your members with the rest of multiple District 19 or within your district. You've got a long list of people who have been district governors, zone chairpersons, district governors, council chairpersons, one international director, and they've also worked on a variety of committees. I first ran into past District Governor Jim Reineke someplace at a club support team meeting we were having in Tacoma. And I thought, wow, does everybody in Longview talk like that?
Southern Canadian.
Yeah, Southern Washington State, I think. And really, really good people, and how honored. He was always going on about your spaghetti feed. You guys do a spaghetti feed, I think, once a year?
Taste of Italy.
Taste of Italy. Yeah, he would show me posters and he went on and on about that. And I thought, gee, that sounds like an interesting project. I think I said that right. So a few years back, I thought, well, our club we have our own hall. And we couldn't put hundreds of people in. We maxed out at 110. But we have this hall, so I thought, well, let's give it a try and see what happens. So we put on a spaghetti feed one night. And it was geared towards seniors, and we kind of rolled it out at 4:30 in the afternoon, and we were done by 6:30. It was pretty amazing. Well, we had 80 people show up. And that was okay. And we've been doing this for 3 years now. We do it the last Saturday of the month, and the last Friday of the month, rather. And the last Friday of the month, last month was when we were all in Whistler, and we had something else going on in the club. We only had 92 people show up. And we had 5 people working now, and they were pretty tired. But over the course of the year, what we do once a month pretty much equals what you guys do in a year. I mean, we're making between $4,000 and $5,500 on something we can't figure out whether it's a service project or a fundraiser. Everybody's having so much fun with it. It's just a lot. And I was talking to another club, the Aldergrove Lions Club. These are all in Canada now. And they have a meeting hall. And they're in a seniors, they own a seniors complex, 2 of them actually. One's like a single-story outfit, and the other they got a 5-story building. They're all on one piece of property. And they have a community hall that seats maybe 60 people. And they were looking for some sort of project where they could get the members involved doing something. So I said, well, we might try this, you know. They do it, I think they do it last Friday of every month too, but they don't have people come in so much as they do takeout. They do a couple of hundred spaghetti dinners on Friday night. And they're just thriving with your spaghetti, your taste of Italy. The Fort Langley Lions Club heard about it. Guess what? They've got a hall, they're doing it. The Pitt Meadows Lions Club, they're doing it. And now the Surrey Central Lions Club just started doing it. So you guys have a huge impact north of the border, and you don't even know about it probably. That's what I told you. I mean, we're kind of known for pancake breakfast and spaghetti suppers. We just didn't do the spaghetti part. And now we do. And, you know, it's you guys have, that's going to be something you probably have no clue that happened out there. Where am I? My notes wandered way off the page. When we charter a new Lions Club now, we we have procedures to follow. We expect to have a certified guiding lion. Hal's coming up to Bellingham next weekend to teach past 1,000s on how to be a guiding lion. Actually, I think it's 16. But in 1923, there was no such animal. I don't think the road out here was even paved, was it? Oh, do you know? You weren't here, I know, but...
Ask Jim.
I think it took them 10 years to pave from the working border to the 49th parallel. That whatever they'll say, Route 99 or something like that. So getting around, having somebody from another Lions Club show up to kind of show you the ropes was probably pretty difficult. And now we've improved it, so we've got a guiding lions, but you guys did okay. I mean, 95 years, and you can't complain about how things have worked out. I don't think that the Tacoma Lions Club, who sponsored this club, probably had any clue that what would happen, that this club would carry on and do the great things you do. I mean, the Tacoma Club's still in existence too, so I don't know who was doing what in those days, but it sure as heck took. And I know with the Pioneer Lions, every time when I was council chair, we had our convention in Yakima. And I circulated around just to see what was going on, and we had all these yellow jackets, and they were everywhere. And there was 2 different seminars, and I don't know exactly what was going on in there, but there was a huge amount of fun happening. And I don't think it was at anybody's personal expense. I think it was just everybody was having fun. And I think that's hugely important, that you have fun when you're doing stuff.
To the Viper! To the Viper!
Funny you should mention that. We had a Viper in Yakima, and I toasted a Viper. With apple juice of all things. That was a shock. I was expecting Scotch whiskey, and I got apple juice. That was interesting. That's not what I said.
That's nice.
What the heck is this? Oh, it's local apple juice. Well, I think that Task Director Roger mentioned that I'm on a couple of committees, and it's been quite an interesting experience. I had a phone call just before Christmas. I think Rosemary and I were having coffee in Bellingham. I got this phone call from a past president. He said, "Are you going to get an email?" Say yes. Okay. So I said, got the email the next day, and I was to serve on this international campaign committee, so I said yes. And a week after New Year's, I found myself in Chicago at this meeting. It was rather interesting. I was the only past council chairman in the room. There was, I think, 3 past international directors in the room, and everybody else was past presidents. Kind of a heady group to be dumped in the middle of it. And from 10 o'clock in the morning, they broke for coffee, and they had a discussion, and they came up with the idea that we weren't going to refer to anybody by titles. We're all going to use their first and last names. What a strange idea to do, but it was just made it a lot easier for me because we were all on a level playing field. But at dinner that night, I'm sitting with 2 past presidents, and I felt a little out of my league to a certain degree, and one of them, Frank Moore, says to me, he says, "Alan," he says, "what do you think the greatest challenge our association is facing these days?" Holy smokes. That's an interesting question. How do you answer that? I said, well, I guess the only way you can answer questions like that is honestly. He asked what I thought. And I said, in my opinion, the greatest challenge we face is leadership. And it's generally, leadership, I'm talking about at the club level, I wasn't throwing rocks at the international president or anything like that. But I think if you find club clubs that have good leadership, they thrive. How long have you guys been around? 90-some years now? Says something, doesn't it? You've got good leadership, you've had good leadership, you've got people that care for each other. I mean, it's obvious to me that you guys really care for how things go and how you guys are doing. And it's, I think that shows great leadership on your part. You instill that. All of your representatives that I've seen at the multiple district level, Mark was, when I was council chair, Mark was the district governor for G. I didn't know Mark at all. Dale, hey.
Sorry about that.
I grew up with a bunch of Ukrainians. I can usually get around most things. It took me a day or two to get that part figured out. And I discovered he's got a hearing. So everybody done. But it was a great experience. And I had a great year working with Mark. I had a great year with Hal. Hal was my leadership chairperson. And I paid him back. I was his, but that's another story. So, but leadership is hugely important. You continue to support humanitarian efforts. We are the global leader in humanitarian service. And that can be anything from little things, like a minor flood, to the whatever on earth is happening in Northern California right now. I was going to send an email to Joe Preston and ask him what's happening there, and I didn't. But I'm pretty sure that something LCIF will be on the ground there as soon as it's safe to do so. But every Melbourne, you guys have had 56 Melbourne Jones. This is before all this stuff happened here tonight. You had 56 Melbourne Jones fellows, and I forget how many, 8. My arms are getting really short. 8 progressives. So that's like 64 Melbourne Jones plus whatever happened here tonight. Each one of those is the equivalent of providing like 20 cataract surgeries. Each one of those Melbourne Jones fellows. 10 Lions Quest classrooms for a year. The diabetes screening for 180 at-risk people. The list goes on and on and on. And you guys have done a huge part in that. Over and above all the other things that you do in Longview. And it goes out, the LCIF, Lions Clubs International Foundation, people think that the money goes there and goes off into oblivion and it never comes back. I've seen the records for North America, strangely enough, and we tend to get at least as much back as we donate. And this multiple district has done very well. So it's a great organization. It was described to me recently as most Lions Clubs have an admin account. I think you guys have one, right? You have an activity account?
Yes.
Oh, you said yes up there too, yeah. Cool.
Treasure. Yep.
Think about LCIF as the activity account of Lions Clubs International. I thought, well, that's an interesting way of looking at it, but it really is. And it's got a board of trustees that looks after it, so it's a great organization. I'm going to have to put my glasses on because this font's not quite big enough. As I said, you've had an eye-controlled font, so I should put it. We were at the, I don't know if you were with the USA Canada Forum, and the LCIF did we did 2 LCIF presentations there. And the first one, they were like 2 hours long, and there was 4 of us presenting in sequence. And Joe Preston said to me, I says, Alan, he says, do you realize, he says, you've got a huge piece of stuff to talk on. He says, you think you're up to the task? And I thought, well, so I practiced reading, and it took me, reading at a really brisk clip, it took me 23 minutes. So I said, well, I think I'll do it. And we had to stay on the message. We could not skate off the page. So they said. raising $100 a year per person, per member. My phone's off now. And that's the equivalent, just in rough terms, of the price of a cup of coffee a week. 1 cup of coffee per week for 52 weeks. If everybody did that, we'd be at $100. That was not in the script. I was a bit of a rebel. I threw that in and right away. And the Russian was sitting down in the front, and he whips his phone out, and I thought he was like how making calls or something. And so he came up, and he says, my friends, he says, if we did this 20 cup of coffee a week for whatever, he said, we'd actually raise $411 million. So we're trying to raise $300 million, so we all chip in the equivalent of a cup of coffee a week for 3 years, and we're in good shape. I got an email that we're going to, the whole presentation is being revamped, and I'll have my script the next day. I got it 20 minutes before we went up. It was in 9-point font. That's pretty big stuff, you know. It was pretty interesting. This is 14. And I'm having trouble with that. So you can imagine how 12 points work for that. Anyhow, you guys have had a huge impact on the community and within our association. I mentioned this today, so you have, we keep talking about the history you've got. But what are you going to do next? What's the next thing you're going to do? You got a 100th anniversary coming up. And that's pretty significant. I'm going to a 100th anniversary in March of 2020 in Windsor, Ontario. The Windsor, Ontario Lions Club will be 100 years old, and that's the first club outside of the USA. So that's the club that made Lions International. And strangely enough, they're like you. They don't have presidents who keep in office. Other than Jim Ryan, but he's not there. And they 100 years out, and everybody does 1 year and moves on. What are you guys going to do? Do you have a goal for your 100th anniversary? Something to think about. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's where are you going to be with membership? Have you got some amazing project you can pick up and do in the community to recognize all the great things that you've done? I mean, I think it's great to recognize all the things that you have done, but I think it's interesting to look at what you might do in the future. And who's going to be the person doing it? You need to think of the future as well. I said we appreciate coming down here and visiting this area, visiting the Longview Pioneers in particular. I've been traveling east-west in Canada the last 3 years, and I've been going to places that they're not nowhere, but you can see it from there. There's a place in Saskatchewan, which is central Canada, north of North Dakota. It was 45 degrees below zero. And that's centigrade, which works up to really cold in Fahrenheit, too. And that was my first journey outside of MP19, and I thought, oh, man. And I was a guest speaker at this event in a place called Craig, Saskatchewan. It didn't have a gas station. And the person doing the introduction had sent me an email, could you send me your bio? And I said, well, yeah, here it is. And pick something out. Yeah. But don't read the whole thing. I've been in for a long time. There's lots of words there. They read the whole thing. But it was interesting. So, and I'm looking forward. You learn by doing things, and you learn that you don't send everybody a great long bio if you don't want them to read a great long bio. I was pretty generous with Roger because I knew that he wouldn't do that. But it's a great experience to come down here. It's you guys are doing great things. Keep doing all these things that you do. and think about what you're going to do next. What are you going to do in the future? Who's going to be the next district governor of Longview? You got that figured out yet? No? What do you always think about it? Figure it out more. It's interesting. I think we as an organization have to think a bit more strategic as to who we put forward in various roles. And I think you guys have a great, you guys, I guess. Anyway, we have a lot to offer our association. So, on behalf of my wife and I, we thank you for your hospitality, the friendship. That's more important, I think, than hospitality, the friendship that we have developed with people. We've served with Sandy Conroy as governor. There's people I see in the room that we've had at leadership institutes, regional leadership institute, leadership 101, house creation. You don't think you guys have had an impact. How's really had an impact on our association. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. I had as he noted, the privilege and honor of serving with him as one of his governors when he was council chairman. Found out we both have a rather odd sense of humor, which I think it probably bolstered our friendship somewhat to go through. For those of you who don't know Alan quite as well, if you think of a dry sense of humor, our own Terry Woodruff is very famous for that. Sometimes he'll make a quip, and you're 30 seconds away and halfway down the room before you realize you've just been nailed. But so that type of humor, we appreciate that. Typically, in the past, we've had a response, which always seemed a little odd. Thankfully, Lions are getting away from that a little bit. We also often typically would offer a gift to our speaker. However, I know, especially as he's heading into his stretch as international director, he probably doesn't need another Mount St. Helens pottery ashtray or anything along those lines. So I came up with the bright idea of making a contribution to LCIF in his name. Unfortunately, I left the check at home, which I didn't realize until I was chatting with Alan right before we started and didn't have time to run home. However, I got your schedule and I know where you're staying, so I hope to connect with you in the morning and get that straightened out, so we will take care of that. We have one other big award that we're going to present, but prior to that, I would ask past District Governor Monty to come forward. He has a presentation from the Kalama Lions to the Pioneer Lions, which will be to Ken. While he's coming forward, just a quick question. What do you get when you cross a joke with a rhetorical question? I didn't say they were good, folks.
Well, he's coming forward to present to you, so we'll let him do that. And I'll step back up.
It's not often that we get a chance to honor our sponsoring club. So this year, Kalama decided to get them a little gift. But first, I'd like him to open the card. He might want to read that on the side. After all, he's 95 years old here.
Just thought you would appreciate a card that you could enjoy without leaving glasses.
President Ken, Kalama Lions would like to present you with this little gift. We hope your club will enjoy it for many years.
Stand right here. How do you open it?
I didn't tape it that well.
Where's your daughter at? She's sitting at her somewhere. She probably wrapped it, so she's pretty good.
I did.
You wrapped it? You know, while we're opening this, I have to tell you about a great friend that went to MD-19 Lions with us. We walked around for 3 days, 6 of us, trying to find the convention center. If you want to get somewhere with lions, don't let them read a map.
There you go. Oh, I want to make a little comment. This is a pizza box from Canada and over on the island up there. And it just happened to fit perfect.
So they know you brought it across the border?
And it goes pizza. Oh, we've seen this, and this is fantastic. This is a gift from our friends in Cowlitz. Thank you. We appreciate this wholeheartedly, and Cowlitz is really hard work done. Thank you.
Be sure and come up and take a look at it after the meeting. It's hand-carved wood. Very, very nice. What looks good. I'm not sure how to describe it. It is hand-carved behind glass of a lion, and yes. But come take a look at it. It's easier. It's much easier to look at and figure out what it is than to have me or Ken or anybody else tell you what it is. Past District Governor Jim, would you start moseying up this direction, please? Our final award of the evening is an award that those from outside of our club or even some of our newer members probably have not heard of before. It's known as the R.E. Peterson Award. This is named after our international director, past international director from our club. This came about for the first time, I believe, in 1993. The first recipient might be able to correct me on that, but I believe that's about the time that we came up with it. We had a dilemma. We used to have our own portion of this Longview City Road Shop building that we kept some Lions chuck wagon and some of our equipment in, and they let us know we had to move, and we were scrambling, and a number of people were involved in that. One of them was a contractor that gave a lot of his time to do that, and the other was our club president that year, John Claypool. So our first two recipients of the R.E. Peterson Award were past President Greg Vestergaard and past President John Claypool. Over the years, there were 3 other presentations. My fellow members of our planning committee, George Moore and Greg Firth, were among those. And then I was lucky enough to be one of them as well. There have only been 5 R.E. Peterson Awards in the history of the Longview Pioneer Lions. But many of you probably don't even know who the heck R.E. Peterson was. So I'd like past District Governor Jim to give us a little bit of information about R.E., please.
Thank you, Mark. Past International Director Roger, Rosemary, past councilor, everybody up here at the head table, and all the past district governors, past whatever out there. If you were a person that worked one shift on a jump wagon or some other, hello. All right. Yeah, let's talk about R.E. Peterson. It goes back to about 1975. I retired. My wife and I moved up here and owned a small business. And I had a representative at a local radio station come around trying to sell me ads. He couldn't sell a damn thing. His name was Hal Palmer. So his boss called me in. His name was, what was it? Do you remember Hal? Yeah, Terry Keniston. Terry said, why don't you become a lion? I said, well, I don't want to become a lion. Well, one thing led to another, and I met past international director Arnie Peterson. Anyone who ever met past international director Arnie Peterson never forgot past international director Arnie Peterson. His voice would wake up the dead. He owned a radio station which was appropriate. He owned K-Bam, a country western station in Longview. His big thing, I believe for him personally, was Scandinavian interlude. And weekend mornings, and it woke everybody up. And if you ever want to be awakened by an accordion, whoa, that's the way to live, I guess. And anyway, they talked me into joining the Lions Club, and I met past international director Arnie, and Terry Keniston became my zone chair. My orientation was next Tuesday night, we've got a meeting in Kalama. And then that was pretty well. It wasn't, would you go or can you go? It was go. But then we did have an orientation. All the older lions remember going down in the back of K-Bam, sitting there in that wonderful orientation with Joe Johnson. It was memorable. And I joined, and the day I joined, actually, I think my president was Lion Don Donaldson. So you're at fault. You're at fault. But Terry and International Director Arnie led us straight into how to become a lion. And I wasn't a lion. You know why I joined Lions? I joined Lions because I owned a business and I wanted to get the Lions to buy from me. Evidently that did not work because I went out of business. But anyway, what Arnie told me then and what I believe to this day, and you've heard it a million times, you join, you become a lion, you wear a pin, and then something happens and you become a lion. The second time you become a lion. And what woke me up, just like Arnie told me it would do, is giving eyeglasses to school children in Longview. And he was right, by golly. One of the things Arnie didn't say and didn't tell me was the people I would get to meet over 30 years. Yes. And that is invaluable. And that was Arnie Peterson, and everybody should be awarded. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Jim reminded me of the words of our longtime member, past District Governor Sam Price, who was actually District Governor down in 36E before he moved up here. And he often told us during orientations, which our orientations are much better than the 4-hour ones that when we first came in. But his thought was, all too often we lose a member, we rarely lose a lion. And that speaks to what Jim's talking about. It's that what touches your heart because of some service that you've done. Anyway, we'll get along. We do this the same way we do our Melvin Jones Fellows. The selections of Melvin Jones Fellows are by the existing Melvin Jones Fellows. We meet together and we decide who should be the next person to join our ranks as Melvin Jones Fellows. We did the same thing for the 5 of us who were Arnie Peterson award winners. And it is unanimous. We selected a name that we thought has given exemplary service for a very long time to this club. It's rather appropriate, I think, that it's the Arnie Peterson Award because Arnie was a long-time secretary of the club. And the person we're awarding tonight served as secretary for about 20 years consecutively, something like that, right, Terry? Yeah. So Terry Woodruff would come forward.
And, yeah, like I said, 1 hour a week, they got me into this thing. And fortunately, I made it to 2 hours, so thank you very much.
What he isn't explaining to those of you who may not remember from that era is Arnie started having health issues. So they asked Terry to step in for a couple of months to fill in as secretary, and like I said, he ended up doing it for about 20 years. In addition to which, he pretty much showed up at every project during that time period as well. Silent auction, I think we should be closing that up, so if anybody has any last minute runs to the silent auction, now would be a good time to do that. We'll close that in about 5 minutes. So I have one final thing that I would like to share, and then I will turn over control to our club president for the thank yous. Most of you know it's been a difficult stretch for me the last 4 months, so there's some family stuff going on, but I'm a strong believer in positive affirmations. Keep yourself positive going through this. And it is November, it's Thanksgiving. I know Canadians are a little ahead of Americans, so they have their Thanksgiving in October. 2 of them. Wow, that's pretty nice. So, however, given the time of year, I thought this quote on gratitude really hits pretty well. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Gratitude truly is the best attitude. President Ken?
Mark is perfectly right. You know, this is Thanksgiving, what a special time for us to be celebrating our 95th anniversary. And for a lot of the work that's taken place, for everything you've seen happen tonight, it's been a long, hard process for a group of people. Right now, I'd like to thank all the people from the committee members, decoration display, and silent auction. If all of you that were really involved in putting this terrific dinner together, please stand. Very, very special thanks to both Mark and Mark Koelsch for the leadership they've displayed in doing this. There's a couple of things several people have asked me that on the program tonight was a little out of place. And we got to looking and checking records, and no, Jim Radicke is not one of the charter members of the club. With that, I would like to ask all of you to join us. First of all, 2 toasts tonight. One for the International Lions Club that provides for the services of the world to make things happen and to make things positive for all those involved. May we raise our glass to the Lions Club of International. The second one is to 95 fantastic years. You know, as long as the city of Longview has been here and been chartered as a city, the Longview Pioneer Lions Club have stepped up and made their mark on our community. With honor and pride, we raise our glasses to the city of Longview and the Longview Pioneer Lions Club. With that, we would like to take just a minute and ask Joan Chairman Merrill Patterson.
And close the auction.
Oh, the auction is closed. Marty, how much stuff did you buy? Okay, the auction is closed. What do we do with the, you're the boss, what do we do? How do we tell people this go back and look?
Yeah. He's going to go grab the sheets.
And then we got to read the name though.
I don't believe so. I think he's just going to collect the sheets.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make this really beneficial.
If they put their name out, go check.
It's club meetings. If you want to know if you want anything, step back there and see Steve Johnston. Hey! We're not going to say it. song tonight.
We're going to sing God Bless America. Would you like to stand? God bless America,
land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And before we close and tell everybody good night and thank you, I would like to remind everybody that if you see the yellow jackets in the community going around, know that they're worn with pride. The one jacket that you won't see in the community, because it's all over Canada and the rest of the
Western Australia.
and Western Australia. Our past director, Mark Koelsch, had it in his heart to bless Allan with a special yellow jacket. He is the only one that's on Pioneer land that can wear that yellow jacket. Thank you. We would like to thank everybody for a special program tonight and for your participation. And keep looking for us. Wherever there's a need, there's a Pioneer Lion. Thank you.